welcome to the Little Blue Pod. It's Jem here. I hope you are well, and thank you for joining me for 31 days of BPD. It is day 18, and I'm talking to the parents of children who have BPD, but adult children who have BPD. And I hope this will be a useful video to anyone watching. Welcome, parents. It's good to have you involved in the 31 days of BPD. So information is taken from this wonderful book. Once again, I'm doing a giveaway at the end of the series, so stay tuned for information on that. I don't know why I'm hugging the book, but never mind. So most people with adult children can look back on their parenting years and think of many things they would change if they could. Regret is especially poignant when your adult child has BPD. And no doubt you can compile a great list of the mistakes you have made, but we all can do this, whether we're parents or not parents. We can all think of things that we've done that maybe we shouldn't have, or maybe it was a bit of a mistake, but you know, we're all human and we all make mistakes. But one thing you can't do is make up for where you may have got, sorry, let's try that again, shall we? But one thing you can't do is make up for where you may have gone wrong by trying to fix your adult child's life. If you try to do so, it may just make things worse. Your child is now an adult and has to be responsible for his or her own life and recovery. Yet your adult child is likely to try and enlist your help, whether it be in the form of finances, advice, or solutions. Now, I do this with my mother and my father. I have gone to them for many things, a lot of the time to do with finances, because my impulsivity makes me very bad with money. I ask for advice as well, and sometimes this can be a bit tricky because they may not have the answer, and I'm expecting them to have the answer. I'm expecting them to have a solution when maybe they don't. So here's some advice for you parents. Make sure your child is in treatment before considering help. Don't be responsible for their help. You are not responsible. They are an adult and they need to learn ways to cope with their illness on their own. However, if they are in therapy, maybe try and by going through therapy and taking meds, they will learn ways to cope. Okay, so this is their responsibility. They will learn ways to cope. There are things that you can do for borderline personality disorder. DBT is one of them. Dialect behavioural therapy. It may be that you can help them get the therapy, but don't be responsible for their care. Don't be responsible for their treatment. Make sure that they are in treatment before you try, and then you can find ways to work together. You can find out about their treatment. You can do your own research, learn about the disorder, rather than being straight away to offering help, because it's a challenging thing for anyone to do, but it's even made even more challenging if they have borderline personality disorder or emotionally unstable personality disorder, or emotional intensity disorder. It has many different names. If you do decide to provide help, make sure that help is limited. They don't need or want your help all the time. So if you are providing the help, just say to them, look, I'm here when you need me. I'm here when you need me, because they might not need you all the time, okay? And if that help is something that you can do together, work on it together when the person with BPD is feeling a bit more stable, a bit more calm, and then you can discuss ways working together. So, but in this discussion, you need to set boundaries and limitations for you both. Now, I push my mum to the limit sometimes, and I think sometimes I overstep boundaries. Well, in fact, I know I do. I push her to the limit, and I think she wants to do as much as she can to help me, and that's great. But even I need to sit down with my mum and discuss the boundaries and limitations. Any support needs to be discussed with the professional who is involved in your child's treatment. So make sure that, perhaps you could even meet or attend meet with the person who's giving your child support. Because if you're going to get help, if you want to help them, it's good to get to know how you can help them. And maybe if you have a one-to-one session with them or join them in the session, then that will help as well. Remember, limiting your help is actually in your child's best interest, because people with BPD need to figure out how to live their own lives. Continued dependency merely reinforces their old patterns. Never try to be your child's therapist or counsellor. And following these suggestions can help improve your child's ability to cope and can pave the way for getting your child appropriate treatment. Now, the things you need to do, and I'm going to go through those now. Sorry about the papers as always. Be calm. Be calm with them. Make sure that you are, staying calm especially if they're in an emotional episode. Set reasonable boundaries. I've already discussed this, but set boundaries. Perhaps speak to someone who is going through a similar thing, or perhaps speak to a family member, someone you can rely on, or a friend, and say, what should my boundaries be? Ask them for their advice, because they may be able to help you. They may be able to see the wood for the trees, because you're very, very much immersed in this relationship. Remind yourself that the person that you love isn't intentionally hurting you or trying to be malicious in any way, because it's an illness and it does come from a variety of different things, not just from childhood and not just from any mistakes that you think you may have made, but it's genetics as well, it's culture, it's many, many things. It's something that biology, it cannot be helped, and they're not doing it on purpose. Keep your expectations reasonable, so make sure that you sort of know that some days it's going to be good, some days are going to be bad, and it's what to do on those days that that is important. If you're thinking that perhaps they're having a good day today, then maybe speak to them and say, okay, what can I do on a good day to support you? And then also ask, what can I do on a bad day? It's about communication. Communication is key. It's always about communication. The better you can communicate with each other, the better your relationship is going to be. Think about other things that you can do. Discuss the things that you can do. And remember, the biggest thing here, apart from communication, is to separate the illness from your child. So know that the illness is the illness and that your child is your child. Even if they're an adult, they still need you, but you need to understand that their illness makes them behave in a certain way. And when you can start to separate those two, it will be a really, really beneficial relationship. Any research you can do, really, really helpful. And perhaps you can just think of ways to be there for that person, but not to be there all the time, because they need to work things out on their own and decide ways to work with how you can work with each other in the future. I hope that helps. I feel like I've just read loads of stuff out to you, but hopefully some of that information will be of use. I'll put some information in the description below and anything you can do. And finally, I just wanted to say that in the 31 Days of BPD, the first series, link to that in the description below, we go through the 5-step process to working with someone, to support someone with BPD when they are going through an emotional episode. We go through distancing, communicating, challenging, distracting, and managing the problem. Really important. Check those out. I'll put a link to each one in the description below as well. Please let me know any comments you have, any thoughts you may have. And has this video been helpful, or would you perhaps want to go into more detail with this at the next 31 days of BPD? Let me know your thoughts. Take care of yourselves. Please be kind to yourselves, and remember that it's the illness, not your child. Take care. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye now.